Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another From the Farmer podcast. Um, I am here in St. Thomas, Jamaica, at the Source Farm Eco Village, and we're having a glorious day. A little bit of rain, a little bit of sun, um, really beautiful breeze blowing through. And I'm saying that because I'm rubbing it in for all the people that have snow. So I remember when it was seven degrees below and 30 degrees and all that stuff. And I am so blessed that I am here, even though we have, rainy season and hurricane stuff. I'm happy to trade it for the ice and the snowstorm. So I'm just rubbing that in, Alicia, right? Um, so I know that you guys are in New York or in these spaces that are very,
Laughing at you.
so yes, yes. But it's a balance, and we have to do wherever we are put on the planet, we have to work with what's going on in the environment, and it's uh it's where we're at. So get an opportunity to some of us get opportunity to go and have those experiences. And so for me, I am very happy that I am able to. I don't even want to tell you I went to the beach today and how amazing that was to be in that beautiful, beautiful turquoise sea that's around our coast in Jamaica. So I just had to like throw that in there for those of you who are, in the cold. But we're here, so you can definitely come and be with us. And for those of us who are in Jamaica that haven't been to the beach for a while, I'm encouraging us to go and take advantage of what we have um, around us, whether it's going to the rivers or the beaches. We are so blessed to be on this island. And so when we get the opportunity, please do go experience or go take a hike in the woods, right? This is what's important. So I'm going to we're gonna I think we're gonna get going because we have a very full calendar of things to share. And Miss Production Assistant, I'm going to give you a second to start. Okay. So again, welcome everybody to another podcast on a Sunday evening with us. I'm so grateful that you're able to take 1 hour or sometimes an hour and a half out of your very busy Sunday schedule to be with us. It's almost like, we're creating a community here, community of practice, a person likes to say, because we're here trying to learn as much about organic farming and healthy lifestyle. And we try to bring as many different kinds of folks on that is doing like excellent work in this area to share information and for us to create that community of we're learning and we're sharing and we're trying to, clean up our food systems and really work with ourselves in terms of the things that we have to do with, not just in Jamaica, because we're becoming a global community, whether we're in the Caribbean or in the US, Canada, wherever we are sitting in the world. We're able to create a community of people who are good stewards to the planet and how do we work with each other and help each other out and share information. So I'm really grateful to have the opportunity that over the last couple of years, we've been able to do this podcast with the help of so many team members here at Source, and also just the support from the wider community that support the work that we're doing and are part of this movement, this, I would say, evolutionary movement of getting back reconnected to the natural world and all the aspects of being part of this, planetary system that we're on. So I'm very, very grateful for that. Just to give you some heads up, this podcast is really about Ujima and the work of Ujima. And we're going to be so blessed to have a number of Ujima members here. Sometimes you've experienced their products, their services, and you don't maybe know who's behind some of the things that happen at whether it's Source Farm, but also specifically Ujima. So I'm going to be going through and inviting them to talk about the work that we do. And so people can get a chance to make that connection and then tell you what else is going on for us because we have a lot of exciting opportunities that's happening for Ujima Naturals Limited, Farmers Market, and all the people that participate in that. And it's really about a community of practice. So just so you guys know, so Ujima is a Swahili word that means collective work and responsibility. And people who are familiar, they know it's also a principle out of Kwanzaa, right? And when we came together in terms of the work that we were doing in St. Thomas around organic farming and kind of coming out of the movement of JOAM. So we first started to do JOAM work in terms of meeting once a month and talking about organic food and being a kind of a chapter, St. Thomas chapter. And we started doing some products together. And then through the source farm and the farm doing the 1-1 cocoa, when we started teaching folks about more about organic farming and how do we do this kind of farming, it was clear that we needed to have we couldn't just grow the food and then put it back into Carnation Market or sell it at a farm gate for nothing. And so out of that conversation that we were having in St. Thomas, we said, you know, we need our own space. And it took us many, many years to actualize that, but it finally happened. And we're about 14 years in. About 14 years into doing this farmers market. And it started out in a really dusty parking lot on Haining Road. One of our students had that space and we went there and we got run out of the space by the government saying they didn't want a market in New Kingston. And so we were blessed enough to go up to another space that was welcoming at 22 Barbican. They had another dusty parking lot that we could be in. And we're there about 8 years. And we really grew out of that space. And now we're at Hope Gardens. So we've, had quite an extensive amount of work that we've been doing over the years. And just to think about hosting a market every week and the fact that we've been really feeding anybody that's looking for clean food, organic food, to have a market every week and have enough produce and value-added product is a lot. And so it didn't just happen overnight. It took a lot of different volunteers and farmers to be consistent in what they're doing to be able to provide that offering. And so with that growth, a number of our farmers have amazing, not just the raw material in terms of the lettuces and the pumpkins and those things, but they've all developed amazing products out of that. And out of that, we were able to blessed with having access to a post-harvest space that we need to renovate. But before I even go into that, what I want to do is to see if we can share a little bit. So some people have been to the market and some people are just viewing in from wherever they are. And I wanted to see if we could show a clip of what happens at the farmers market. So you can kind of have a quick look at that. So Michelle, are you able to share that with us? So you can get a little taste of what we do.
You can narrate. There's
Okay,
no
all right. I
sound
want to
on this.
right. Okay, so you'll see that it's the vegetables, the value-added products. You'll see us there at Hope Gardens. We're really grateful to Michelle. Every week if you get those amazing flyers, it's Michelle that's doing a lot of the graphics that we do. And up in here you see our mission. We're the first ones in the Caribbean to really have this natural and organic market, and especially the long run that we've been having over the years. We've had a lot of people from the Caribbean come and look at what we've done, and they've actually replicated it. And so now we're at Hope Gardens, and you can see the various vendors. If you've been to the market, you can see all the characters that are there that you buy from every week, and the different kinds of things. So we have, for the most part, it's primarily a farmer's market, but we do have people that have, arts and crafts, books, booksellers, medicinals, and we're always looking for anybody that is really doing clean food. So we're very strict on people coming in to the market, because we've had a number of people, they want to join the market because they think it's kind of like an uptown market kind of thing, and they want to have access to those customers. But we do go and we do verify that the produce that we're getting is as clean as possible. We recently just put things through the pesticide residue um, um, through UE, University of West Indies, they have a pesticide residue lab, and we put things through that lab to check to make sure that we keep people honest and that they're doing the right thing. And to be honest, we only had one item that was not clean, and somebody else that had brought something in the rasta that somebody had brought something and it wasn't. So I feel really good that we are really batting at least 99, 90, 90% of more than 90% of the food is coming in and it's clean, not just looking at it. Because, when you do this organic certification, people can decide that they're going to do something shady on the side. And when you show up, then everything looks like it's okay. But by doing it with the pesticide residue stuff, you really get a chance to look at it chemically, that is there stuff going on this food. And because we do have a lot of people that have health issues, we want to make sure that everything that we're giving them, that they can actually, it's whole and it's clean. And so this is one of the tenets that we do here at the market. Right, I wanted to just talk about a little bit more about the particular project, and then I'm going to ask the various people that are part of this segment of the project to kind of come in and talk about the business. So way back in 2019, we applied for a JSIF grant, and especially being in St. Thomas, where we don't get much attention in St. Thomas, they put an emphasis on trying to work with the St. Thomas farmers and some of it towards tourism. So JSIF came and said, for us to apply, we applied, and it took us till now, a number of years to get, and we know we had COVID and all that stuff, but for them to be able to fully accept us into a project, and it's a Ready To project. And so through Ready To, it's geared towards tourism, but it's also about working with the farmers so they are able to produce whatever, if they're doing the organic farming like we are, is to support the farmers into getting the next level of work that they want to do. So when we applied back in 2019, we wanted our 10 farmers to have post-harvest spaces, because I don't know if you guys are, what people are paying attention to. A lot of farming that happens in Jamaica is still very the basic farming. The farmers have a fork and a machete and a whatever, all important tools, but we're not getting the infrastructure to upgrade so that we can actually have more production. And most of it, the banks aren't lending anybody funding farmers. They're funding like vehicles and cars and that kind of stuff, but nobody's giving a farmer money to advance their farm. And that's really interesting, because how do you expect to get more production if we don't have any capital to kind of start that off? So with this project, we're supposed to be getting a couple of things. One, we would get a post-harvest space, because that's another issue, because when you guys are driving on the road and you see those big trucks coming into Coronation Market with all this produce, and you see everybody sit down upon the produce, right? Because they're coming from country. This stuff has been going on for the 1700s, how we've been dealing with things, whether it's a cart or a truck or a van, right? And the post-harvest is important, because when you're growing things and you put them in these sacks and they're dirty and all that stuff, it's because our bodies are so resilient. Because if not, we would be, think about coming in, seeing all this produce coming in, everybody sitting all over it, right? So we don't have good post-harvest in Jamaica, right? And so we're trying to make sure that the farms are upgraded. You have a person that's farming and they don't have no bathroom facilities, right? What is a person doing all day when they're on their farm? Where is that? So we're asking the government and the different agencies who are doing lending, let us help upgrade our farms. Think about that. All day, you're in a farm and there's no way to pee officially, whether it's composting toilets or not, this is nothing. So where's that? What's happening with all of that? So in the project, we asked for an upgrade. So we'd have the farmers that we're working with have some facilities to utilize, and they'd have hand washing stations so they can hand wash, and they'd have a post-harvest. So depending on what they're growing, if it's lettuce, they can wash it properly. If it's pumpkins or carrots or whatever, that we have a better post-harvest. So that is what. And then for the people who are doing value-added products, to really take it up a notch, because we keep being asked to just do raw materials, but we know that if we're going to be able to sustain our farms, we need to take it up the value chain. And so this project is supposed to help us do that work. And So we were approved, and we were approved for about $80 million towards some of the post-harvest. But you know what happened? If you start this project in 2019 and it's now 2020, 2025, right? You know, the money is funny. The money, of course, is not as valuable. So because for us to be able to get accepted in the project, we end up having to leave some really important projects out of the overall 10 farmers. So some of the farmers are not getting what we requested because there's a certain set of money that needs to happen. So important projects like, and Des will speak to it, speak to her project, but we were worked with Dr. Jacobs in Tennessee, in the US, and she worked with us to have an organic feed for chickens, right? Because people want the chicken to be organic. It comes from the feed, and we want the whole way the birds are dealt with to be dealt with in a much more humane way than what's been going on. And the feed is important because the money's on the feed. And we noticed that when we had COVID and that logistics thing happened, a lot of people, poultry farmers, lost their flocks because they couldn't feed them because all that feed is imported. So we addressed that issue by getting a formula for a feed that was created on island for us in Jamaica with everything that is that is grown here. So we don't have to import the stuff. We can grow all the ingredients here. And so that part of the project was left off. And I feel like, well, we have to make sure that's put back in. Because whether you are a vegetarian or not, we know that we do a lot of chicken in Jamaica, right? And it would be nice to clean up that food system and also make sure the feed is locally grown so that we'd be able to not have to be worrying about these logistics things, right? As much food as possible grown on island. So that's one of the projects that got left off. Another project is another one of our farmers. He does wines and also, chips and stuff. That project got left off. Another one of our projects with our condiments got left off. And so we are down to a very small pool of people, and it's Ujima. We really want to make sure that those projects are added on. And even the people that are on there still, they need assistance as well. So today I'm coming to you to have that conversation and to really introduce you to some of the people that are going to be participating. And in the larger farmers market now, ultimately what we will be doing is having a distribution system, because the thing that happens with us is that right now we're the only game in town in terms of anybody wants anything clean food, and you're in Montego Bay or St. Anne and you want something clean, and the doctor say you need to have do juicing or whatever it is that you need, you have to come to us, right? You have to come over or figure some way for us to get you something, or you just have to be stuck eating what what you have access to. So we are really wanting to do a distribution. We will be doing a distribution business with this project, because we'll have the value-added products that we will be able to send, and also vegetables as well, to different locations. And I keep telling people that the work that we do is about super conscious food for super conscious people. So I wanted to kind of break there, and I will give the opportunity for the various farmers that are participating in Ujima to kind of come in and really tell a little bit. But I think before we do that, I wanted to put the video out. And we have a little video so you can kind of see the work, and you can meet some of the farmers that are part of this. And then we can go into having some more conversations with the farmers about the challenges they're having and the work that we need to do. And I also want to tell you, as we're having this conversation, before Michelle, you start, we are asking every Jamaican or anybody who loves Jamaica to donate, right? And we're saying, even if it's I would say 200 Jamaican dollars or $1 whatever the currency is, we're saying that's what we want. We were asking for that to happen. And we already started before the hurricane to do this work. And it's important because we tend to want other people to fund certain things, but we ourselves are not supporting the work of the island. And, God forbid that something happened to you in here and you need some clean food. We're it, right? And I've kind of followed like the Garvey principle of, how did Garvey get the ship and all that stuff? He didn't do it with these big donors. He did it with a person $1 at a time in the US or whatever it is to be able to add up. And then we say one cocoa full basket. So we're asking for those of us that are on island or off island, if you love Jamaica or if Jamaica had any influence on you at all, whether it's in your ancestry or you just see the work that we do as important, we're really asking for the support. And so as you watch this video, this is why we're here today, is to really talk to you about that work that we're doing and how you can support. The other thing I want to put out there is 2 or 3 people in the audience that have the access to people that can really fund this project, right? There's at least, and I'm asking you, even if you don't have the bazillion whatever dollars, there are 2 or 3 of you that have people that want to do good work, but they don't know that they can't, the linkages. So when you leave here, I'm asking you to think about who is it that would support. And it could be a support for the individual farmer, right? Because we do slow money as well. It could be that individual say, I really want to support the psilocybin work, or I really want to support the honey work, or I really want to support the plant medicine work, right? And you'll get a chance. I really believe in this poultry production that needs to happen. So within our network of people, that somebody that can help us, right? So I still want you to give your support, but I also know that there are people that are in this room right now that have the links. It's part of that web, right? That knows a person that also can come in and support and help us do the work that we need to do. So I'm going to turn it back over to Michelle to share the video, and we will talk after this. We're not having any volume. We might want to start over. We're not hearing anything. Sorry about that, guys. Technical difficulties.
Nicola, just speak while I figure out why I can't hear sound.
Okay,
Just
no
keep
problem.
speaking while I'm figuring this out.
Okay, no problem. So, yeah, we really need some support on this. Oh, I want to also tell you about the post-harvest space that we have, because that's a major thing. So as we were doing, Storage Farm was doing a lot of this work when we had the value chain. We had 70 volunteers that came in, everybody that knew anything about organic. We brought them down to look at the feasibility and if this made sense for us, how we could do it. And we had all the top folks that came through. And in doing this work, we had a donor that saw the struggles that we're having and donated a tractor, and also came and saw this amazing tree at a property that we were looking at, and actually purchased that 370 acres of land and donated it to us to do this organic work. And that's amazing. It's a beautiful property. And this is where the post-harvest space is operating out of. So we have a structure already that we'll be doing the distribution out of. On that property, we have a number of projects. We have the People Seed Project. We're going to be doing the Tremel Medicinal Garden. We have our breadfruit operation where we do breadfruit flour and cassava flour. And we will have the GWG farm that's there that we're working on. We have the coconut nursery, and we have a banana nursery that we're doing, like stewarding and saving the germplasm for bananas. So there's also a whole conservation piece that's going on. So we're very, very blessed that they were able to donate that land to us, right? To the organic, to Source Farm, and also really to the organic sector as well. So we do a lot of work out of that. Those of you who haven't had the opportunity, we're going to be doing a lot of BioBliss stuff, and we invite you to come out and see the tree It's an amazing tree. It's about 300-400 years old, and it's amazing. And it's the energy of that tree is like so healing. So, and also this is where those of us who want to volunteer and learn how to farm or come and support the work that we do, we're going to be running some weekend trips where you can camp or stay and help us plant food. Food security is so important right now that it's so important for you to get with a farmer, not just talk about it and worry about the prices, right? Because I'm telling people, if you're not putting something in, how are you going to get something out? So it's very important for you to come. Even if it's once a month, you come out, get out of the city, get out to the environment, out to where you are, and come in community with us. Learn how to do some of the things, whether it's planting or helping us weed up things or just being part of the whole medicine work that we do. We're having tincture workshop, all kinds of different workshops are going to be coming up, learning about being in this environment that is very nurturing and healing. So if you're on this call, it means that you care about stewarding the stewarding plants and the things that we're doing in that divine connection we have with the plant and the plant spirits. And this is the place where you can actually come and breathe. It's amazing, this ecosystem that we have, getting a chance to be out of those urban spaces. If you're in an urban space and come, and if you're in a rural space and you want to come and learn some of the things that we're doing, the practices, come and be in community with us. So it's very important for us to share this space that we were donated. And so we'll be doing a lot of the production stuff out of it. We have one cocoa for that. So
We're
are you
ready,
ready?
Nicola. Yep, ready.
Okay. All right. Okay. So
Thank you
we
so
are
much for clicking on this GoFundMe so I can tell you a little bit about the work that we do here at Ujima Naturals here in beautiful Jamaica. We're actually sitting in the parish of St. Thomas, which is a parish that's been left behind since 1865. This is a parish that a lot of people kind of forget about due to uprisings that happened. And the Source Farm Foundation has been around for about 20 years doing development work within the parish to look at many challenges, whether it's ecological challenges or just economic development issues. Over the years, we've trained a number of farmers in organic production and permaculture. And out of that, we developed, with the community, a project that we call Ujima Naturals, where we go to Kingston and other places to actually sell organic produce. So currently we're at the historic site of Hope Gardens, where our farmers market resides. We do other work within the parish, whether it's training work or other development work along ecological lines. Our next project is to create a distribution network and center for Ujima farmers. We have a number of farmers within the parish that we've trained, and they have amazing, beautiful, value-added products. And since we're the only place on island that actually are producing naturally grown or organic food, we do get a lot of requests across the island, even into the Caribbean, for products. Now, we would be working on an initiative for partnering with the Organic Research Station to be able to have a distribution center and a production space. We've been working with a number of farmers, and each of them need post-harvest spaces, because we're kind of working in a situation where it's about the 17th century agricultural situation where it is not proper hand washing stations or proper production facilities. It is really a shame that in Jamaica, we have only one location on island that sells organic or natural produce. And so if you come into Jamaica and you want something clean, you have to come all the way to St. Thomas or go to the farmers market in Kingston to get this. So we want to be able to assist people who have health issues that are coming into the island so that we can distribute to anyone that wants clean food across. With your help, we'll be able to do this. We're trying to fundraise $500,000. Those proceeds would go to creating a post-harvest space for these farmers, proper hand washing stations and bathroom facilities, using appropriate technology for solar so they'll be able to run all their equipment. It would also help us to develop the distribution center, which is at the Organic Research Station and Distribution Hub. So that we'll be able to gather all the produce throughout the parish and be able to distribute it through a CSA and distribution hub across the island. We get lots of requests in other parts of the island that want our produce and our value-added products, but we need to be able to set up the infrastructure for us to do so.
We're proud members of Ujima Naturals Ltd, a group of farmers who have worked together for well over a decade, growing using organic principles.
At Twiston Creek, our focus is on regenerative farming, growing healthy food that heals people as well as the soil. We suffer post-harvest loss due to inadequate space for processing as well as storage.
That's why we're raising money to build 6 Quonset huts, also known as steel span buildings. They will also help us to store, dry, process our produce safely. We will reduce waste as well as expand our offering. We will also be able to meet international food safety standards.
One of my challenges is post-harvesting space, so that when I harvest, I have a perfect place to wash, package, and prepare for transportation. That's a little bit of a challenge. So this is why we're doing this video. So whatever assistance I can get, I'm very thankful to make you get nice, clean, healthy food.
Some of the value-added products that I do manufacture are condiments made from vegetables, fruits, as well as ground visions. Exciting taste of our Scotch bonnet peppers, which is one of the main items in that. If I got a facility, it would allow me to do my post-harvest work and also set up a shop where I am able to sell my items from.
As a member of Ujima Naturals, while working with the other farmers from St. Thomas, I came in contact with Dr. Jacqueline Jacob from the Kentucky State University, where we worked together to formulate a local organic feed. This actually came in handy when the COVID hit. There was no feed coming in because of the whole logistic problem, and a lot of farmers lost their bird. Luckily for me, I was able to sustain my flock with this feed. So we have things that are locally grown are used in this feed, like callaloo, cassava, and other things found on island. So I was able to sustain my bird. So moving forward now, I like to expand so I can have my distribution of these other farmers that suffer a tragic loss during the COVID time. On record, I have 50 farmers who are willing to take my feed, and I cannot meet the demand at this time. And I know they are really, really depending on me for their chicken business to come back up to par, as this is their livelihood, or they survive.
My background is a social worker and a nurse. And with growing a mushroom business, I'm able to bring everything together, focusing on health as well as wellness from both a mental health and a spiritual capacity. In addition to growing psilocybin mushrooms, I'm also able to grow oyster mushrooms, and it is a beautiful culinary option for people that are looking for vegan alternatives. Living at Source Farm Eco Village, our goal is very passionate about growing organic food. So as we grow our mushrooms, they're grown organically so that when people are ingesting them, we know everyone's ingesting good, clean food.
We are providing the physical location from which a lot of the production that Ujima Naturals will be carrying out takes place. We have a post-harvest facility that is in need of renovation and repair, so we can really ramp up the scale of the activities that we do But so far, at GWG, Ujima Naturals has been able to produce in very limited quantities things like cassava flour, breadfruit flour, other seasonal products that become available, and by preparing them, we can extend their shelf life and allow greater distribution. But really, the ultimate goal is for Ujima Naturals to distribute not only across the island, but eventually into the Caribbean region, value-added products that can sustain nutritional health for all the people who will buy these products, and also the economic health of the farmers who are mainly located in St. Thomas, a parish that has been neglected over centuries. And we want to be in a position where we can be an example of what can really take place when people come together, work together collectively, and do something that will benefit people outside of themselves.
What's beautiful about this initiative is that each of the farms that we work with across the parish become a demonstration site of what is the right thing to do, how to farm organically, naturally, regeneratively. And so it becomes an education center. So the farms, you can come and visit the farm. We have farm tours so you can see the work that we do, engage with the farmers and participate and volunteer as well. You know, sometimes people are nervous about working in the Jamaica space, but everything that we do, we work very transparently. Jamaica has amazing biodiversity, and we are being able to tap into that to make a lot of medicines that we want to share with the world. So in supporting Ujima Naturals, you're also supporting a beautiful ecosystem and being able to tap into that plant medicine so that you'll be able to access clean, healthy, beautiful food and medicine.
All right. Thank you guys for your patience of going through our presentation, and really thanking the farmers that are have been doing this work and sustaining their, their belief in clean food, because sometimes people come to things and then they get frustrated and leave. But all the farmers that we work with have just, this is their life work. We know that they care about it. This is something they believe in, they live with, they demonstrate, and it shows up in the products. So I wanted to kind of get the group to unmute and introduce yourselves, and maybe just do a little deeper dive. I know that I see Nzinga on the call, I see Nomi on, Des is there, Colleen is there. Can you unmute so we can just have a little conversation about and share with the folks that are here the work that we're doing? Nzinga, do you want to go?
Yes, okay. Are you hearing me?
Yeah, we're hearing you.
Beautiful. All right. Well, good afternoon, everyone, or early evening. My name is Nzinga Allen, and I'm here with my husband, Zuberi. And we are actually on a bit of a little road trip, so please forgive the background noise and any interruptions that might cause. So, what should we tell you about? Let me tell you about Zuberi and Nzinga. Zuberi and Nzinga, we have been a couple for so many years. We actually speak what the other is thinking. We have together we've grown a family, and we came back to Jamaica to raise our children because we knew that this is where they were going to get the best expression of humanity was here in Jamaica. They had the opportunity they were born overseas, but they were able to learn and become part of what we call a visible majority, because for many years they were the visible minority where we came from. So being in Jamaica allowed us to really sink into what our first love is, especially my husband, organic farming. We are a Rasta family, so we have alternative lifestyle, alternative means of feeding ourselves. We're all vegans. And so the only way to make sure that you get the good stuff is by more or less planting it yourself. So that's really what that started us off. We were growing pack toys for our tables and doing things that were preparing things that were so delicious that we wanted to be able to share this with those around us. And that's really where Ivory Life started. So with Ivory Life, we were into beekeeping and make a value-added product that we infuse our honey from our bees with the organically grown products that we grow on our farm. So we grow turmeric, ginger, and Scotch bonnet pepper specifically to fill that, to be the input for that product, with our infused honey product. But we also see that the land that we have is not only for us in our household, because we realize we could grow so much more. And with the teachings of, let me see, JOAM has been around for about 25, 24 years, and we've been members for what 23 years. We've been members of JOAM. Our daughter was actually the first, the youngest JOAM member when we joined. And she had her own JOAM and everything. It was really wonderful. But shows that it's a family. We are. So JOAM, Ujima, we're about, it's about bringing something that's from, not just from the heart, but from the earth. And that is clean organic food. So now we've created Twisting Free, that is now where we want to really focus on post-harvesting and what we can produce from the farm, because not everything is going to be able to last a long time. But we are looking at ways to add some value to them, our callaloo or green bananas or whatever it is, but something that would stretch the lifespan of our produce so that it could go further afield, so it could reach places and mouths and bellies that really need it. So that's what Ivory Life's Twisting Free is all about.
Thank you. Thanks so much, Nzinga and Zaberi, for sharing the work that you do. I'm going to pop over to, where is, I think, Nomi, are you on?
That's it for us. Who else is going to go?
Yes, hi, here I am. Greetings to everyone. Are you hearing me okay?
We're hearing you, but we're not really seeing you.
Great.
Yeah, right, better can see you better now. So talk about Blue Odyssey. What do you do?
Okay. At Blue Odyssey, we cultivate mushrooms. And so Blue Odyssey really is a culmination of my life work. So I started by having my master's in social work and doing a lot of mental health work, learning about persons going through trauma and depression and different mental health issues that they're having, to then go back and get my RN and go into nursing and continue to study not only mental health, but physical health, which I'm very passionate about, which then led me to moving to Jamaica, living on an eco-village, and continuing my training of organic farming and permaculture, which then led into mycology, which is ultimately the intersection of mental health, physical health, and land stewardship. So Blue Odyssey is not only about the production of mushrooms, but really looking at the full system. So we are producing the mushrooms, but then even at the end, we're looking at the waste of the mushroom. What happens to that waste? It goes right back into the system. We put the waste on our compost, which heats up the compost and helps break things down even further. And then we can put that compost back into the soil that's helping rebuild the soil, which is, regenerative farming and all these practices that we're asking all the farmers throughout the island to kind of take on. So my business is Blue Odyssey, but I've also been part of Ujima Naturals, which is the collective work of all the farmers. We're asking for you to contribute to our GoFundMe so that our production space in Pear Tree can continue to upgrade and have good agricultural practices, as well as one of the elements to our grant is requesting these steel span buildings, which I will receive for my mushroom production. And after Hurricane Melissa, we're very thoughtful in all the donations that have come in, but to share that when we created this grant, we were very thoughtful in what we were asking for. And the steel span Quonset hut building is hurricane resistant. It also looks at the whole system so that we're collecting the water that sheds off the building, putting it into a gutter, using a solar pump to put it into a water collection that will go back into the system to allow the mushroom production to continue. Also thinking about solar, we have unstable, as you see the internet sometimes, but also water can be unstable, JPS can be unstable. So in our requests for the funding was having an entire solar system that will power the equipment that I need for AC or ventilation so I can have a sterile environment in growing the mushrooms. So your donation, contribution to this effort really helps not only my business, but the collective work that we're doing for each of these farmers, as well as the distribution hub that we're trying to create that will allow us to send food across the island, maybe eventually across the Caribbean, and then throughout. So we're just very thankful for this opportunity to share the work that we're doing. And thank you again for helping us all.
Okay, thank you, Nomi, so much for sharing that. It's so important to know not it's about the production, but about everything that we do is appropriate technology, making sure that we can not just do but demonstrate to other folks that this is a way for us to go. And I think the Quonset huts have been proving that out because we've been having all kinds of people coming to visit to see if this is a solution. Desmarie, do you want to unmute and tell us a little bit about your business?
Hi everyone, I'm Desmarie Skirvin. I'm from Green Valley Livestock and Farm Produce. Well, just a little backstory. So originally my dad had erected a coop and he was doing just a little backyard farming and he got some birds. Then eventually he stopped and I was going to university at the time. After finishing university, I was seeking a job that wasn't as successful as I hoped. And I was at home and I was saying, what can I do instead of sitting at home? Oh, excuse, nearby my farm, so you may hear animals at random. Oh yes, so I was sitting at home. I said, what can I do? And the coop was there, and I said, okay, I'm going to get 20 birds because financially I said, okay, I have to start with 20 birds. That would be equal to 20 eggs per day. And then I met Source Farm. There was an opening at Source Farm, and I met Nomi and Nicola. And at that time, I was having 20 eggs, and most persons know that a tray of eggs would equal 30 eggs. And they'll be like, I want 3 trays of eggs. And for the week, I have to bring like 20 eggs today, 10 tomorrow. So when I have completed that 3 trays, they're like, I need 3 more trays of eggs. It's already finished. And I was there and I was talking to them. And then I got introduced to Dr. Jacob. And I was saying, I would like to have organic eggs, or how can I differentiate my eggs from the other eggs coming out? Because I'm thinking growing up, my family, we have high blood pressure, diabetes, high cholesterol, all of that just washing down the family line. So I'm like, if I'm going into farming, how can I contribute to better health? So we sat down together, had a few meetings, and I told her like things that I saw in the commercial feed, and she told me about other stuff, and we talk about what is grown here locally and what we produce a lot. And then we sat down, me, her, and Nicola, and we came up with a feed. Dr. Jacob really came up with the feed, and we just gave her our input. So we have feed for both layers and the chicken birds that we eat for meat. And it's just sitting there. We are trying to do, me and Nicola and the other members of the team, what we can do, but it is very limited. Right now, I have 20 birds that I am giving my feed to. I don't know. A lot of you assume not Jamaica, you don't know what a mortar is. That's a container, and you get a piece of stick and you beat it. That's where I am coming from until I got access to the post-harvest space where we were doing, like, for instance, we're making cassava flour, and the residue from that I can give to the birds. So even though we are not there yet, we are trying in what we have. So today podcast, we are trying to ask give people information about what we are doing, so you guys can sit and think how best you could assist us. We are asking for assistance to grow. And I up to last week, a person called me, is the feed ready? Because a lot of persons, they want to grow their chicken for meat and eggs in their backyard, but they don't have enough feed. And this instance, when I said, oh, I really need to get this going, COVID was a big wake up call for me, because, like, I have other farmers that are conventional. I will go to them and I say, they're saying Jamaican, them bird you can't lay upon nothing else than the feed from iPro. And I was saying, no, no, we can't come and make this feed now. But when COVID came now, the logistic problem. One man with 1,000 birds was only getting one bag of feed. They were coming to me and said, Des, we have to try and do something. So more person, I'm just sharing this to say more person are now interested in getting this local farming thing going, because they saw what it did in COVID. And we know many more things will be coming, so we have to be prepared. And so I hope you guys are enjoying. And it's nice for you guys to know where your food is coming from and who is behind producing your food. All right, thank you.
Thanks, Des, so much for giving us the real background of, really about poultry production in Jamaica, because people, we eat, everybody know jerk chicken, right? From Jamaica, right? We do this, we eat a lot of chicken. And to know that really all that feed is imported, it doesn't make sense. With a 12-year growing season, we have the formula. We need to make sure that this project is supported, because it's really like, it's so important for us to be able to clean up the feed that we're getting. And also the fact that we can make the feed on island. It's also another opportunity for, value added products, but also the fact that we need the feed. So I'm really grateful that Des has really stuck with it and is doing it. And we get Des, I need some eggs for real. We'll talk about that. So Des has been our supplier of eggs, and we really do want to make sure that the business continues and that it grows. And also, she does has the demand. It's not a case where there's not a demand, right? So we're bringing this on because, as I said, there is somebody on this call has the support for Des, has the support for, so maybe you're not interested in the whole thing, but yeah, you're interested in the poultry production. You can reach out to Des and say, all right, what can I do? There's a whole program in terms of a slow money program that you can work directly with the farmer, and you can also work with the group itself. We're very much interested in that. So we have a number of opportunities for people to participate, and I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. Let's go now. Who else is there? I see Colleen. Do you want to just talk about the work of GWG, mostly leaning on the medicinal side with the work of Dr. Pickin? He's not here. He's in India right now. Maybe you can talk about a little bit of the work around that.
Greetings and salutations, everyone. I'm Colleen. And unlike the other people have just spoken before, I don't directly produce food, but the work that I do supports their efforts. And for me, that's the next best thing. If I can't grow it myself, I need to be very close to those who are actually putting food in the ground and putting food on my plate. Um, GWG for me is such a unique opportunity because the work that is done at GWG, it provides a theoretical framework. We already know that organic food is the best thing for your life, for your health. But the work that is done at GWG undergirds all of that good work that we know exists with science. And the main purpose of the research station is to provide research opportunities for people who are seeking to produce clean food and better medicine. And all the medicinal plants that exist, and Jamaica is in such a unique biosphere. The plants that are found in Jamaica are found nowhere else in the world. Just for a very preliminary exploration that we did at GWG, we identified 70, and that is 70 medicinal plants. And this was just walking around the post-harvest space. It wasn't going into the 370 acres. We even found a species of medicinal plant that is on the endangered list. People hadn't seen it for the past 6 years, so they thought it was going extinct. And just walking around GWG, entering the gate, looking up, there's medicine. Looking down underneath your feet, there's medicine. One of our early projects that we've undertaken at GWG has been seeking to grow papaya leaves to treat things like dengue, hemorrhagic fever, all of the chickpea. Most people don't know, but papaya is an excellent antiviral, um, or it has excellent antiviral properties. It has been researched under Ayurvedic medicine for thousands of years. It's only us in this side of the world who have come lately to the benefits of a plant that we grow up and ignore. So currently we are regrowing papaya leaves, so we can do the tests, and out of the test results, we'll be in a position where we can actually commercialize like herbal teas made out of papaya leaves that will be able to support immune health amongst the people who drink the teas. And that is just one example of all the good work that is possible based on the amount of medicinal plants that are found at GWG. We're also working with Tramil, which is a group throughout the Caribbean that focuses on plants that have been used traditionally throughout the Caribbean region and also North and South America to heal people. Our ancestors didn't have a pharmacy to run to. They ran to the plants that came to their doorstep. And that is a foundation that we need to get back to. There are no side effects. Once it is used properly, there are no side effects at all with plant medicine. There's no warning label that you need to put on it. And it's freely accessible to everybody who has access to the plants. And that's part of the work that we're doing at GWG, putting the research in so we can get the medicines out to the people who really need it. And the other thing with GWG, it is the hub for distributing not only plant medicine, but all the clean and health-supported, nutritionally dense foods that are produced by the members of Ujima Naturals. And this opportunity is really one that is a no-brainer. As I said, I don't grow food. I'm not a farmer. But the work that I do and the contributions that I make can help those who are doing the work do it well, and do it for more people. So I would encourage everyone who's on the call, every mickle make a muckle, one cocoa fill basket, and it really, really, really has made a difference. But we can't do it by ourselves. We need people to be part of the collective work that is being undertaken by Ujima Naturals and GWG and Source Farm and all the groups that have come together to make, and this is not a project, this is a revolution in the way that we live and eat and thrive. So I would encourage everyone, and as Nicola has been saying, it's not only just money out of your pocket, it is reaching out to other people so you can spread the gospel. And this is a gospel. Spread the gospel of super conscious food for super conscious people. And the people who are on this call are super conscious. They're waking up. We are waking up. And time is running out. We can't keep putting it off and putting it off. We need to do it now. So yes, here endeth my sermon for today.
Thank you so much, Colleen, because you really have shared a lot about GWG and the work that we do, and we really do thank you for all the work that you do to really support the whole team to get the work done. Colleen is the person that understands the documents and get us through all the different grant scenarios that we have to jump through. So we're really grateful. Even though she says she's not a farmer, she's an excellent baker, right? And she has her own set of products that we're going to be pulling her in to do sharing with us as well. I wanted to put my 2 cents in because I'm not just the podcast, but I have my own projects and business things that I do. So I'm known usually at the farmers market as a bread lady, and I produce breads, whether it's yeast breads, but also like pumpkin bread, banana bread, and that kind of stuff. And also, I've been making some cassava tortillas. And that was one of the things that happened for me, why the post-harvest space is so important, because while we were doing it for the farmers market, we had General Food come to us and say they wanted to start for us to also put that bread, the breads I was making, into the store in the supermarket. And I'm like, we don't have the capacity to do that because I've just been baking out of my little oven in my house. And so in order to ramp up with any kind of production, we would need to have a bigger space. So I'm also a member and also have my own product line as well. So the things that I do teas, I do the bread lady work, and I also I'm doing my kind of famous jerk seasoning from when I was in the US and had the jerk restaurant. People ask me for that all the time. But you want to make sure that the food that we're producing is, it's nice to kind of start off in your home, but it's important for us when we want to scale that we have the ability to scale. And one of the things that happened when I was coming back to Jamaica, I looked at kitchen incubators in the US because it's a lot of money to be able to put a really safe, clean kitchen together, and thousands of dollars, as you see. And I kept saying, why don't we have kitchen incubators in every parish? Because it would allow farmers to do better post-harvest. It would allow farmers to start their little thought of a pepper sauce or the product, and then give them the ability to be able to scale it. And so this is what that post-harvest space is not just about post-harvest, but it's actually a kitchen incubator. So other farmers that are doing clean work will be able to come into that space and do their jams or whatever post-harvest thing that they want to do. Because the days of just doing pumpkin alone, and it may not be the most, maybe do some pumpkins and sell, but can we make a pumpkin butter? Can we do other products as well? Maybe pumpkin flour, whatever it is. We need to be able to do these things. And of course, the nutritional value is so important because we're not having thousands of travel miles. We can actually do this work within the island and reduce the amount of things that we're importing. And as you all know, if you're in Jamaica or anywhere else, you know the price of food is going up. So we now need to make sure that whatever we're doing, especially around post-harvest, because we have a lot of post-harvest loss in Jamaica, we want to reduce that. So for me, I'm very much, part of Ujima in terms of the products that I have, and I want to see them be able to produce more in scale. And so it's very important for us to understand why we're doing this, because we should at this time have light manufacturing on island with some of the products that we're having and not stop trying to export everything. We should be making our own pepper sauces, not just all raw material going out, but actually producing those things on island and taking it up the value chain. Much better for our farmers to be able to do that. So that's some of the work that we're doing. Is there anyone that's on the call right now that I've missed? I'm trying to look through. If I've missed anybody, please unmute. And then I'm going to open up for conversation. Before I do, I want to do one more thing. So I said to everybody, because I kept saying, how are we going to raise this money? How are we going to do this? And I went back to Garvey and I said, you know what's happening? We need to do this one cocoa full basket, right? So that's one way. The other thing that I looked at, and it's interesting because we did this before the whole hurricane, is I looked at various ways that people can support us. So we have one way is obviously pay it forward. Just pay it forward. Whatever it is you can, you pay it forward. And knowing that you're going to get something at the end of this in terms of produce, or just the fact that we're able to produce more food, because you never know, you might become ill and you need to get some clean food. We have a direct, where it's coming from. That we've been doing this work for a number of years and we're not, playing around with it. This is the real thing. The other thing that I was asking people to do is the option to, maybe Michelle, you can blow it up a little bit so people can see the flyer. I don't know if we can do that, if it can happen. The other aspect that we were looking at is to get folks to talk about food futures. So where you are, some of the funds that we would have is you're going to be paying it forward, and some proceeds will go into some initiatives that we have under Ujima. One, as you see, option 2 is food futures. There's 3 initiatives. We have an infirmary in St. Thomas where nutrition is no nutrition. It's pure rice flour thing going on. And so in the infirmary, the elderly people are not getting any kind of nutrition at all. There's no vegetables. It just doesn't happen. So we would want to use some of the funds once we get going to start to produce some, at least once a week, some at least being able to make some meals from that, because we'll be growing and we'll have excess. So we want to be able to do that initiative. The other thing that we want to do is with our children, since we'll have all the baking equipment and that kind of stuff, we want to be able to make some nutritional bars for kids, because right now everybody knows about the bulla. And it's just flour and water and sugar, and it's really no nutrition in there. We have, with the breadfruit flour and the cassava flour that we're doing, with moringa and other spices and stuff, we have a really delicious energy bar that we can give to support the school children with. So they're not just having this bulla business, right? We know we kind of grew up on it, but as we get older, realize that some of this stuff is not really healthy for us. And so can we create, since we have the kitchen space, can we start producing some healthier things? The third thing, which is very interesting, is our disaster kitchen relief, right? And we obviously we just went through the, obviously Melissa, and what I see happening is everybody from outside coming in, trying to support and help us. And we're very grateful for World Central Kitchen. But we should have had incubation, kitchen incubators all over the island that would be able to produce food to support our communities. And this is one of the things that we want our kitchen incubators to be part of. And the last thing that was on that flyer was about the CSA. Now, CSAs are, people may not know about CSAs. CSAs is community-sponsored agriculture. And this is where people from the community give the farmers, pay for a season of farming for the farmers, and then you get your money back in the produce. This is something that happens globally. It started in Japan, as a matter of fact, and it's spread. And that's what has been able to save a lot of farmers in the US and Canada and the UK, because they're able to prepay for food and then help the farmers. Because when do we need the money? We need the money to buy the seeds. We need the money to get started, to get those things going. And then you have produce. So the other way around, what we do in Jamaica, we just try to do something, and then we're never able to take the the crop all the way through because we don't have the inputs to do that, right? So we're saying to everybody, listen, food is going to be very scarce. What you do is work with the farmers, work with our team, and at least you are now guaranteed being in a farming community that we're going to remember you. Don't come to us afterward with everything and then I say, oh, we need food now when you haven't put any energy in, right? We need your energy. Your energy is your resources that you could prepay or your energy coming to the farm and coming in and putting a seed in the ground. Then we know who you are. So when you come and say, yo, we need some food or whatever, we know who you are. So that's really another thing about time, talent, treasure. This is a real thing that's happening for us globally. Everyone can go to the supermarket and know and see what is going on. And we don't know that the logistics, you see what's going on with Venezuela, you see what's going on with Cuba in terms of all of this stuff, where it's imminent that some drama is going to happen. We have to have more food security on island. And the best thing to do is to invest with the people who are here, right? We can't say that a plane is going to come in or a ship is going to come in with stuff. Do you know a farmer? Are you also putting food in the ground? So this initiative is about let us getting this going. So if anybody is interested in the CSA stuff, we're going to be doing more work around that. Please do reach out to us and we're going to get that going. If anybody wants to come out to any of these farms, we're going to be working this out to come and help the farmers. Yeah, come out and just one day out of the month, you can come and be on a farm, put some seeds in the ground, help, harvest, help weed, help whatever, and just be with the farmers. It sounds kind of far-fetched to do, but you'd be amazed at how healing it's going to be for you to come out and actually see where your food is grown and say it's clean and you learn the practices yourself. So we have a lot of people that want to farm, but they don't know, or they feel that this is the time opportunity to do that. So I'm going to open up the mic because we are asking for your assistance and we want some conversation to go on. What do you think about this? Can you assist us? I know that Michelle is going to be listing in the chat ways in which you can use a PayPal and pay it forward, support us. I know that Ayaba has already donated. Thank you so much for your donation. And also, everybody on this call, or everybody who loves Jamaica, I would have want to put in a 2 cents in and help us move it forward. And then there are people in this room that have a connection to support in a larger way the various initiatives, right? The entire initiative, or, I like that mushroom thing and I really want to work with Nomi on this. Oh, the egg business is amazing. Oh, the honey, and I'm into bees. I really want to see that initiative more. Yeah, I want to help Nicola on our bread business, right? So each of us, and there are other projects that are farmers that are part of this collective, that the wine and the fruits, right? And the wines. The medicinal piece of it. So everybody has something that they're going to be more attracted to. We're all here trying to do the work and trying to provide healthy food for each of you. So give us a call. We're very much close. We're very much accessible. We just really appreciate your support in terms of this. And so we have, and also it's very transparent because you can come and see what we're doing. It's not like you're giving to something you don't know. Come and we can show you the work and we want you to be part of it. So it's a community, right? Community of the practices that we're doing. You can come and see the permaculture things in play. You can come and see the organic work that we're doing. You can come and see the appropriate technology. And you can also come and see, and you can also then take from that things that you can then utilize in your own backyards as well. So I'm going to open this up for some conversation. If anybody have questions or anything at all, this is the time for us to open up and just start the dialogue. Can't just leave me hanging. One question.
Hey, then I'll go for. I was waiting for this. I was waiting.
All right, good. Go first. Go.
So I just want to attest to Nomi's mushrooms, and I want to say that I remember Nomi asking me, "So how did you feel?" And I was very nonchalant about it. But here I sit years later after taking the mushrooms for the day, crying for the day, releasing, spirit coming through. And I see how it has changed my thoughts, how I move, the way I react to people and things. And I say, yes, I'm all for the mushrooms. on that spiritual journey, not just to take them. I know people just take them to take them, but because of my own reaction, I like the methods of how you all prescribe the mushrooms. I also want to speak and a testament to helping you all in the market and seeing how everyone works together and seeing how it is a community and that you've grown. You had 2 markets at one time, going, and I'm here for it. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ayaba. Anyone else has a question or have an experience with the market and they want to share that what they have seen at the market for other people that maybe have not had that experience of the Ujima market at either locations, whether it's at 22 Barbican or original Haney Road or even where we are now. Or even any of the farmers that are on, any other comments that you want to share?
Sorry, this is Colleen. I just wanted to share that if it wasn't for Ujima Natural Farmers Market, I would not have become a member of JOAM. Back in 2017, JOAM had a desk, a member desk at the market, and I went to the market because my son went to the market, and that is where I got introduced to JOAM. And that's how I became involved in a number of projects that JOAM has undertaken, including the Genesis project, where we have gone around the island teaching strategies it doesn't matter if you're conventional or organic, these are just best practices. And the hurricane or the aftermath of the hurricane showed me on a personal level how immediately applicable the strategies that we had been sharing were. So all those trees that came down, we were able to remind people that yes, it is the end of one thing, but it's also the beginning of other things. Because out of those fallen trees, you had the leaves that fell off that could become part of your compost. You could make biochar, which would help to build the soil. You could make charcoal, where if you don't have what they call it here, the gas cylinder blow away, you have something that you could use to cook. And you could also use the bigger trunks to do hugelkultur, which is a great way of retaining moisture in the soil. So I could see that the weeks and months of training can build back Jamaica, make Jamaica survive and thrive, even though we've been devastated. So yeah, I'm grateful for Ujima for so many things, but that was one of the things that I'm really grateful for.
Yeah, thank you, Colleen. And we can't sometimes forget about all the other work that we do, where we, create that container for anyone that is wanting to do clean work, whether it's organic or appropriate technology or the various workshops that we have. So we do create that space on island for that beautiful work to happen. Is there anyone else? It's Jillian.
Hey, Nicola, how are you? How's everyone this evening?
Very good. Thank you for
Great.
joining us.
Sure thing. Quick question. I noticed the list of parishes there where you have your I forget what kind of kitchen you call it. I did not see Portland and St. Mary. What is going on in those parishes?
I'm trying to think of what you would have seen. Is it demonstration sites? Oh, maybe
Probably.
it's probably the
It was
rock-
the missions.
Oh, the missions. Okay. So
Okay.
we under the JOAM Genesis project, we have demonstration sites in every parish. And after the hurricane, we checked in with everyone to see how they were doing. So the places that some people got affected more than others, even though the storm was on the entire island, but obviously Westmoreland and Hanover and St. Elizabeth and all these other parishes were really affected. So we did check in with everybody. Portland, our demonstration site is they're okay. They had to do some minor repairs to things, but they're okay. And so what we've been focusing on is every single site that needed the help. We were able to at least do some chainsaw work So over the last 2 months, this is for December, but in the last 2 months, we've gone to, I think we've almost hit all the sites that really need it. We've gone and done chainsaw work and helped them, evaluate what's going on and then do the support. So this month, you see the parishes that we are now working on, right? So we did Trelawney last week, gave them some help, help them sort the thing out. Because part of it is just like, what do you do with all this debris? And it's very expensive. The chainsaw stuff is very expensive. People walking around $200,000 for a tree, that kind of madness. So we would come down with a team and ask for other volunteers in the area to come. And the chainsaw guys would cut up the trees, and then we would move them and stack them and separate it. So the bigger things is for charcoal, the other pieces for biochar. Some things is wood chips that can get chipped. Some things, the leaves are for compost, and like reminding people and actually helping them physically do this work. So that's the work of it. We've been going to Westmoreland each time. We have a long-standing relationship, JOAM does, with the Westmoreland, the Bluefields Organic Farming group. They have been around 25 years doing this organic work in Westmoreland. And so in that area, we have a number of farmers that have been there. And so our demonstration site needed help, and also the community. When we went, we didn't have any a launching plant in St. Elizabeth, but we went and helped St. Elizabeth. And actually we've sent one of our other partnering agency, the All Hands, All Hearts. They have been helping St. Elizabeth a lot get their greenhouse up and all that stuff. So we've been kind of focused on Westmoreland, not just the farming, not just the farmers, but the community itself in Bluefields, because it's a hot mess. I mean, yeah. To see the pictures is one thing, but to go in the space is another thing. So we have created these various missions to go in each week and do things. So the next mission that's coming up is going to be a children's party event, because we know that when you talk about everything blow away, we talk about blow away. People are like, the stove is gone, everything's gone, right? Really. Can't find these different things. And I know that the school with the kids, a lot of their backpacks got wet and it's just a hot mess. So we decided to work with our Source Education Circle and also Ujima to collect back to school supplies and be able to give them back a backpack with things in it. And so we've been doing that work, and we're getting small donations in to be able to put things in the backpack. So this weekend, we're going to go down Saturday, Sunday, pack the backpacks. We've partnered with all these other organizations that have been coming in to support it. We have the Bamboo Shoot group, their publishers. They're going to be, we kind of actually piggyback off of them. They were going to do it, and we're going to do it. We're like, okay, let's work together on it. And then we have Isis from the radio station. She's going to be coming on board. We have our education circle doing work, and I'm asking the people at the farmers market if you have a little something to add to the backpacks, we'll take it, or just add to the relief as well. And we've been getting some of those things in to support. So, and then we have, I think Dana is online. She also sent things from US that I'm going to go pick up tomorrow, so that we'll take that down there and be part of the donation as well. Is Dana on here? Is she on here? She should be on here. She has done a lot of really good work as well in terms of trying to help with this relief. And so that's what's going on next week. And then we'll look at a schedule for January. We will probably not do anything after the 21st in terms of the missions. We'll pick it up back in January and see what is needed. So what we've been doing is, as we go to the communities, we're asking them, what do you need, right? We're not just coming down and throwing things at them. We're saying, what do you need? We did a medical mission the week before, and that was very important because they said, is there any doctors with you? And so we brought Dr. Ben and Dr. Pickin. I also see Natalie that's on here as well. Natalie went down to make sure the intake was done, and they went back with medicines, traditional herbal medicines for the various ailments when you put them on a quantum machine. So really beautiful work. And Dr. Pickin with all the teas, really showing what we can do, because we're medicinal people in Jamaica still. We reach for a bush. He went down with a list of things that if you have diarrhea, if you have headache, if you have this, what are the things that you can do? So that's really beautiful work. He's also doing we've been hearing about the leptospirosis. He's found, he's been making a tincture with rice bitters, which has been known, like lots and lots of research done on rice bitters. He got the donation from Ray and nephew of rum, overproof rum, so we can make these tinctures. The tinctures, he took them back to UE with the rice bitters that was donated from Top's Tea. And right now in the hopper, the tinctures is percolating. And about 3 weeks, they are going to be available. And we've got another agency that of people from the UK that donated some funds towards doing about the medicine. So you see the flyer, you see the label that's coming up. So this, it's been really beautiful to see all the nature-based people kind of coming together to put the different pieces to it, whether it's a donation to make sure the backpacks are paid for and the things are put in there, or it's a medical mission and people volunteering. And there's people just coming down to help. Right. So if you are on this call and you want to support the work that we've been doing, it's been very interesting watching this whole thing play itself out. What we see on the ground is a lot of individuals coming in and really supporting the various communities. Not as much government as I would like. I would have hoped that we would have seen after this disaster. So it's again about paying it forward, each one help one, because there we go. But with the grace of God, it could have been us, right? That hit it in terms of St. Thomas. We had some damage, but not to the extent that these folks have been affected. And so it's important for us to realize is we're on an island, we're in a community. Whatever it is that we can do, right? It may be just coming down to help pack the backpacks, or if it's a thing where you can't come, but you could put something in the thing. Everybody should be helping everybody else, because we always say if one person in the village is ill, the entire village is ill. And right now, our village is really ill and needs some love and support and prayers and things as well. So I'm always encouraging us to really remember that there we go, but with the grace of God. So I hope that answered your question about that. So it's not like we didn't forget about Portland, but Portland.
Well, no, I was just wondering,
Right.
St. Thomas and Portland are so close to us in St. Thomas. I was just wondering what was going on there.
Portland is doing all those other communities that weren't affected and demonstration sites. We're asking them to plant, right? So they've already started planting so that when the other side gets their wits about them and they can go back into the soil, they will have seedlings to go and transplant in. So
that's a segue into my next question. I was going to ask you, you've been there, you looked at the ground in Westmoreland, St. Elizabeth, and so forth. What do you foresee in terms of timeline? It's hard to put a timeline, but just your best guess on how are these guys going to get back up to speed, especially given the fact that good labor is so hard to find, especially in farming. How do we get these guys back?
Right. So, no, that's a very controversial story, right? Which guys? Our guys? Our guys are working collectively in terms of our demonstration site, right? Remember, those guys have been working together for 25 years. I mean, as a matter of fact, the day that we went down maybe 4 days after the hurricane. And one of the farmers says, listen, I have to go back and put things in the ground right now because I'm vegetarian and I don't eat them things that come with can and them rice and them, so I can't eat that. So he had already started putting things in, right? We came and we cleared the way to even get access to the site because it was, obviously lots of trees down. Came down with a chainsaw. And last week they worked on the greenhouse in terms of the shade house that is there. Mr. Weatherburn, he had trees that were down. We helped stand them back up and prop them and, prune what needs to be pruned. So we have strategies in terms of the organic process that we do. We separated the thing. This is biochar, this is this is that. So we can start rebuilding. The other thing that's important, you just asked me about. So again, it's about a collective work, right? Ujima, collective work and responsibility. We're all doing this work collectively. So it's not just one man off by himself or do that. And that's why it is important for us to form communities. Don't form communities after the incident happened. And that's what we find. No, everybody come in and I'm like, but we don't know you. Who are you? Right? We don't join JOAM, we don't see you, we don't know you, whatever. We love you, but how do we do that when we have our own members to that we need to help. Again, about community, find that community before, not good to find afterwards when you need the help, right? So that's one. And then the thing that's happening, which I'm really excited about, is this cover crop webinar that's coming up, right? We were able to assemble some really amazing people for the cover crop. I don't know if you can show the flyer, Michelle, for that. And that is going to be this week, Thursday. And so the folks that we have amassed are people that are in the Caribbean, have worked in the Caribbean, right? We have our very own King Ricardo, which is Jamaican, and he has his farm here and he's doing the work. And the other host of people, they have had a lot of experience in South America and the Caribbean. St. Croix, Stuart Wright did a lot of work in St. Croix and globally in terms of tropical systems, right? We were on a call with them. I'm going to tell you straight up. We were on a call with them just to get them ready for the call on Thursday. And I was like, I was taking notes because they have been through a lot of these systems before and they understand the soil. They're all soil scientists. And they're like, yeah, what you guys need to be doing is putting in cover crops and certain kinds of cover crops because, what was going on with the soil, whether there's impacted and all this different stuff. So much information about what to plant, when to plant, and how do you, regenerate the soils after they've had this? Because they're also talking about the way how the water worked before in terms of the rainfall patterns, maybe a little different now, and the flow of the water on the land and all these different things, the pest pressure that you're going to feel after going through something like this. This is something that is very important for us to really think about. And because we have the expertise in the room, we really want people. So I'm asking, when you see these flyers, I'm asking if you know a farmer, please do share it because we really do want people to come and get information because they have not experienced this before. And all of these other people have experienced, and they have soil science, they've been studying this for a while. So they know what's going to be coming up. And if you're not aware of it, then maybe you would plant a crop that you're going to end up having a lot of problems with because this is not the appropriate time to plant it, right? Then there's a whole cycle of when you have that kind of devastation and that scouring of the land, there are things that are going to pop up that you probably haven't seen, but the land is repairing itself, right? So you might be trying to remove something that should be there because it's trying to restore its cycles, right? So it's very important for us if you have an opportunity, spread the word, share the flyer, get the farmers to understand this. Unfortunately, our ministry isn't doing that work, right? They're doing whatever they're doing, but we know we need to pay attention and use the best practices and try to make sure that we alleviate the drama that you're going to see if you're not paying attention to the natural environment. So I wanted to just mention that. So we mentioned about the holiday party for the kids and there are other donations that will be given out at that point. Everybody's giving me stuff and I'm like, okay, we're going to get it all out there. We talked about the cover crop. Do we need to talk about the permaculture course? I know that the production team is like, you're done. It's 5:30, but I want to talk about the permaculture course. There are two parts of this permaculture course, right? It says an urban, but we're going to be moving it back into source farm. And anybody who is thinking about building a house, thinking or rebuilding, or even thinking about coming home and building a house, or thinking about any kind of, boy, I can't tell you, we have to spend the time and take the course. It is going to save you so much money and time. And a lot of what we saw in terms of what happened with Melissa, yes, it was a category 5, but because we're putting houses in certain placements, it is inappropriate placement of these structures, whether how it's facing the wind or just in the placement, putting things in flood zones and all that kind of stuff. We were on one of the missions and we saw an NGO coming in and they want to give zinc and help the people to rebuild. And I said to them, have you done any thought process on how some of these houses shouldn't be in this space? Yes, people want the land, but when we just a build house, we just a build house, right? And I can testify, this is one of the reasons, nothing else, I am a proponent of permaculture because I can tell you and I can show you the mistakes that I did when I came on this land, Source Farm. My husband and I just walk and say, okay, we're going to put the wood shop here, so. And I can honestly tell you, we've spent lots and lots of money trying to fix that mistake because we didn't understand, we didn't know how to read the land. So if we're going to be doing this and this rebuild, and this is one of the things I'm having a problem with the government because how are we going to do this? Are we having conversations about land placement and zones and sectors and all these things that you learn when you're doing permaculture that they don't know and they won't take the class? Like, they're not taking the talk. And so that's one of the reasons I've shifted up from having the class in Kingston back to St. Thomas, because you don't turn, they said give your pearls to the swines, right? People now gonna get it. The people who get it, you design, my husband would say, you design 10, measure 10 times and cut once. And that's what problem we have in Jamaica. We have an idea and we just want to rush and do it. No process, no research, no nothing, no talking to the land, no being on the land and observing where does the wind flow, where's the water, when the water falls, where it goes. All those things are important. And we can always rush to do something wrong, but we can't take the time to learn the principles so that when we do implement, it has a longevity. And so we're having this permaculture course 1st of February. Anybody that I'm trying to get some scholarships for folks to take the course. And then we're going to try and offer a specific short week, 5-day course just on natural building. And also, how do you look at your land and know where to place this prevailing wind or not, or whatever, how you do that. And we have experts that are coming in to support and help that. So this is the time now to spread the word and ask those questions, right? We know people want to rebuild and we understand that, but it doesn't make sense. We have hurricane every year. This is what we do. We're in a hurricane and earthquake zone. This is what it is. Island is on that. We cannot keep doing the same thing every year and expect a different result. And so I'm really trying to get as many people to share the word about the permaculture course. I'm trying to get some scholarships for people. But if you see anybody that is in this dire situation, and I would take the time, it's a 2-week course. And when they come out, they will have a better lens on how to placement. And if they have farming, how do you, I had a gentleman, I'm going to say it and I'm going to hang up, right? No, I'm coming, guys. But we had a gentleman came, and I love him dearly, and he was going to do a farm and take the time first to learn the process and do this work, and then you can go ahead and then implement. But it doesn't make sense to go implement something, and money is hard to get in these days, and to waste it, right? So I know you've heard this over and over again. So we have this permaculture course that's coming on February 1st. Flyers are there. Spread the word. Give me a call. I'm really encouraging people to take this. I would not recommend something that is not a money-making scheme or anything like that. I can testify that I had to, and trust me, I had to pay a lot more money than the $1,000 to take the course. Because I had to bring in a permaculture designer in, and he took us through that whole 2-week process. And this is why Source is here today, to be able to demonstrate and to show you, because we made those mistakes, right? So I'm trying to think, is there anything else that I needed to share? I know that somebody was asking me about, time's up, yep. Somebody's asking me about JOAM. They're telling me now that I have to talk about these social media handles, and anybody knows me, I don't know about this stuff. Dion, 1 second. At Source Farm Eco Village, am I saying that right? At Ujima Naturals Farmers Market, and at JOAM Limited _LTD. So those are the handles. I hope I'm saying that right. Those are handles. And please do see what's going on. We have the flyers out. We have whatever the activities that we're doing out there. You can always reach out to me, and I can try and help support. And I'm just really grateful that we have the opportunity. Again, I want to thank our production team, Roshana, Nahala, and Michelle, for always just keeping us on point and doing all this behind the scene work to kind of get this out there. It's a labor of love. And also for you guys for showing up, right? Spread the word. We're here. We're always going to be doing this work. I think that this might be, we're not going to be on next week because we will be on the ground doing the mission work. And so we'll be in Westmoreland. And I will let you know. I think this might be for this year, and then we'll go into January. But we will be on the podcast with really encourage people to show up to that. Lots of information and learning that happens. is going to be happening around that. And we're just grateful that you guys are decided to spend the hour and a half with us on a Sunday. And I think Deanna had one more. We'll give you the last word, but I also am asking Natalie just to close us out. Is Dion still here?
Yes, I
Do you
am.
want to unmute?
Yeah,
Okay, great.
I am still here. I came on late. However, I know you're talking about the nutritional snacks for the kids. I'd want to volunteer to help to do some of those things. And
Okay.
I figure I can talk with you after this. I just wanted to make
Yes.
sure I said it. As well as
Absolutely.
I keep coming on to the meetings and I'm not yet registered with Joe.
Uh-oh. Janice, we're gonna get her, right? So I think may have put things in the chat and just reach out to us and we'll send you, I mean, there's stuff on the website, JOAM website,
Yeah.
but we will make sure that you get to be a member. It's very important for us to support, put our energy where, it's well needed. So we're really grateful for that. And anybody who's not a member, please do join JOAM because we need that. If ever was a time that we needed to make sure the movement is moving, is this time, because we need to have clean food and support all the work that JOAM does. So we're really grateful.
Right. And then because you're talking about, the building on the land and putting things where they're supposed to go, I was actually about to build something on the farm that I'm at. And now I'm going to have to draw bricks based on what you just said. And so I would love to come and learn everything that needs to be learned about building the right way on the property so that, the housing is secure on the property.
Right.
And even where the plants are too.
Right. I mean, the permaculture stuff is just really amazing in terms of like the zones and understanding how the cycle of things should be. Planting what needs to be near to your house so you can access those things and the zones and the sectors. And then just even the way how when it rains, where does the rain go? Major important
And
thing.
I'm on a lot of rocks too. So
Yeah. And an appropriate building methodology. We do earth back here. Somebody asked me to go to another area to do, and I said, no, you have all these stones. Why aren't you building with this? We
with the
do build stones. So it's always about appropriate technology. And
labor,
working.
my friend, labor.
Yep.
You know that labor that we're all balling for? Yes.
Yeah.
Hard to come by.
And then also working together. It's amazing when we go on a farm and we've been doing this work together. It's an interesting thing because if you're working with collective people and organic people tend to we don't hide up stuff. We share, right? A one cook a full basket. We really do work like that. And so it's really beautiful. Then you can get the help that you need. And even with some of this rebuilding stuff, I'm trying to get people to understand that traditionally, if you're and I'm not saying just Africa, other places, you never build a house by yourself. Your neighbors help you, and then you help the neighbor, and you help the neighbor. Like how we do partner, it's very much like that. Everybody comes out, and that's even in New York. You see those barn raising with the Amish. That's how things get done. That's how it used to get done. Nobody individually try do their own thing one away, right? It just never happened. And now we're in this kind of individual thinking, and that's why we're getting messed up. Because even with I'm going through communities, some communities is just they're just sitting by themselves. Why aren't you all helping each other out? Right? And and that was the age of Pisces stuff where we're just all by ourselves. But now we're moving back into age of Aquarius, which is about collective work and responsibility, right? It's about us, each of us helping each other out. And so that is the kind of work that we're going to have to be doing. And that's what I'm encouraging that on the rebuild, we do earth back. It's labor. It's not about the material. It's about everybody putting a bag down and helping, and then you come and you help, and then we come and help you. And so this is the kind of work that we're going to be sharing when we do the natural build, because we're going to be doing earth bag, we're going to be showing cob, we're going to be showing woodland daub on that second half of that coursework that we're going to be doing, so that people can learn that you actually do have, if you build, like for me, I was there when I was building my house. I ran the electricity. I did. I ran the conduits for that. I was able to help fish it through. I know everything about where those sockets and what is going on with it because I was there. I didn't leave it just up to a contractor to do it. right? I laid the bags down. I know about the wall that came down that I had to rip, know how to, you know what I mean? So you're more invested in that. And because I know how to do it, I can build a house, right? Some things are not so with the thing, but at least nobody not go pull no wool over my eye. We have to get back to that thing where we take control, because what ends up happening when you don't know how to do that, then you end up having to pay this crazy mortgage because you have to pay somebody outside to do it and you're not invested in it. But it is totally doable for us. I know, I'm coming off of the something, them are telling me something off a brush. But we had the sewing cooperative building we have on Source Farm. We had one mason, and it was 7, 8 of us that put that structure together. I'm telling you. And it's women did it. So it's totally doable, right? And there's lots of opportunities for us to learn how to do it and get involved. So on that note, I'm being rushed off. So I just want again to say thank you so much for a beautiful year of sharing this information and just seeing everybody show up and just all the communal work that has to happen. We're here. We would love your support with Ujima. Spread the word. Those of you guys who have the connections, the people then that really want to do some good work in Jamaica and support the right thing, transparency, you can come and see the products, you can pay it forward, you can come and support the work that we're doing. Please do spread the word, and so we can get this project moving. And it's not just them we do have a start, but we need to complete the process. So I'm going to ask Natalie to close us out. Is Natalie there? Where is Natalie?
Yeah. Thanks, Nicola.
Okay, could you close us out? Sorry, I didn't have you in the beginning, but
all good. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Thank you, darling.
Okay, cool. Hey, everyone. I know that we're already past the time, but there are a few more things that I want to add regarding the farmers market. The first is on the bread lady, Nicola's products. The first time I had her gluten-free pumpkin bread, I ate a loaf all the way from the farmers market to St. Thomas. I didn't stop. I just kept eating. Nicola kept looking at me like, it's good. It's going to be lunch and dinner for today. I won't eat anything else. So definitely props for that. And then the other thing that I want to share is I've been different places in Jamaica and buying food out, whether it was a smoothie at like a salsa event that was being held in Kingston, or, like the different restaurants buying kalaloo or veggies on the road, and really having to think about where is this food coming from. So I remember asking the person selling the smoothies, where are these berries coming from? And he didn't know. He was like, oh, that's supermarkets, and it's packaged things that are coming from the US and they were not organic. And if you follow the statistics about how food is grown, blueberries, strawberries have the highest level of pesticide usage. And so food is really, really important, and we really need to be mindful of what's the food that we're putting in our bodies, what's the impact of that food on our bodies, the impact on our mood, the impact on our thinking, the impact on our ability to be creative. And so to be able to be connected to the Ujima Farmers Market, which is literally the only organic farmers market on the island, is a huge asset, and we can't afford to lose it. The other thing that I want to make a note about is food insecurity. So we've mentioned food security on the webinar. I want to talk about food insecurity. The fact that many of the area of the island that has been hit, it's a major area in terms of food production. And the local markets that are here, like in St. Thomas, just the regular market, they get their food from that part of the island. And so because that market has been hit, the cost of food has gone up. The cost of food in general has gone up because of food scarcity on the island. And it was really, really both sad and sobering walking through the market and seeing how few things were there, like not a lot of things, but also how expensive everything was. And so for me to have access to the Ujima Farmers Market, that is my saving grace. I'm really mindful about what I put in my body because I've had health challenges early on in my life. And so I don't mess with anything that has pesticide. I would rather not eat than eat something that is riddled with pesticide, or just choose things that I know don't have high pesticides in it. And then the final thing that I want to share is that food and eating food is also a spiritual practice. Food is spirituality. And again, because of the impact that food has on our bodies, we are spiritual beings. We are souls in physical bodies having a human physical experience. So it means that whatever we put in our bodies, they need to be in alignment with who we are as a spirit, with who we are as a soul. And it helps to elevate our spirit, elevate our soul versus like pull that energy. I was disheartened to hear that. I won't get into that. I won't get into that, but there's no fast food chain in St. Thomas. And it breaks my heart to think about just both the low vibration and the cruelty that those animals go through. And to hear this talk about her natural organic chicken feeding and just knowing how those chickens are tended to with intention, with love, with care. It makes me really hopeful to know what's happening in St. Thomas and that it really serves as evidence or demonstration of what's possible across the island. So I wanted to share those things as well. And how I would love for us to close is in appreciation, because I really see our farmers as stewards of the land. It's almost like someone gets something really, really precious to hold and to tend to. So these stewards are tending to seeds. These stewards are tending to our health. These stewards are tending to the care of the land. These stewards are working in partnership with Mother Nature. And there are many people who haven't caught on it. There are many people who don't care yet, but another 10, 15, 20 years from now, if we're able to stabilize this so that it can be sustained, it means that our children, our grandchildren, our great-grandchildren, Jamaica, and the rest of the Caribbean and the rest of the world gets access to these natural, clean foods in all of their different forms. And so with that, I'm just going to allow us to just take all of the things in that we want to be holding in, everything that we learned today. We're going through a process of digestion. So anything that you heard that you appreciate, anything you heard that you want to lift up, anything you heard that you want to send out into the world as something that's possible for the rest of the world, just taking that in, holding that. And I really want us to envision forming a circle around each of the farmers, each of the stewards that are part of the Ujima Farmers Market. They are the stewards that have been holding this for years and years, even through several challenges in Jamaica. They keep pushing because of what they believe in. So I invite us to form a circle around them. They're in the middle. You might imagine them busy working, and we're just going to call their attention and ask them to be still for a moment so we can surround them with love. And imagine that we're sending them light, we're sending them appreciation for all the work that they have been doing for decades, holding this possibility. And I also want us to call up to the surface what their needs are. Their needs for post-harvest spaces. And now planting the seeds out into the universe for those needs to be met. It might be one conversation with someone who has the financial resources. It might be sharing this on social media so it's spread out into the world. It might be donating the $1, the $2, the $3, the $3,000, whatever it is, knowing that we get to contribute to this vision becoming manifest and stabilizing the possibility of clean, organic food all across the island for this generation and generations to come. Sending that vision out. And with that, I say thanks. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Emily. Beautiful, beautiful closing. All right, so if we don't see each other, we are just sending for the lots of blessings, lots of love, lots of light to everyone that is on the call and in our community as we come in community with each other. And we will see you next year.